And the compassion is what, to me, I find brings it all together and holds it all in place, like a web or basket that everything else can be held within. Because then you're also developing tremendous sensitivity. You start to move with the prana and the life force, and it's starting to kind of open up the more subtle sensitivities of the human organism, which is a wonderful thing. It helps us be in connection to our purpose, our sense of joy, a sense of deeper meaning. It's a bit of a formality, but it's a useful one. I think rituals are really useful in the sense because it helps us kind of direct our energy with some sort of intentionality. So mostly right now it's just, okay, everything else in our lives is going on, and there's countless amounts of things for our minds to think about. Endless are the potential stimuli of our worries and anxiousness, and if you think of how many things could possibly go wrong, you can never find the end of them. But if that's true, then it's also true in the other direction as well. It's countless things that could just go fantastically well, but all of it is this kind of like dance of if you want to speak more negatively, we call it a delusion. If you want to speak about it more positively, you could call it a rainbow. You know what I mean? Because even the most beautiful rainbow, we capture it in our mind and we like behold it when you see a rainbow. Why? Because, well, first of all, it doesn't come around that often, but then more so what's about to happen. It's going to disappear. So all these things of our life are a bit like that. You know, even the hardest things are also, they're coming, but they're going to dissipate. And then the things that make us feel really happy and full of pleasures of life are coming, and then those are going to dissipate. And so what is in the center of all that? So for me, that's what kind of tuning in is all about. It's putting my energy system and keeping it in touch with the intuitive psyche, the part of the mind that is able to dive deeper into the unconscious, underneath the ocean of things. On the top of all those is the turbulence of the waves. And even the pleasures can be difficulty, because the pleasures are the ones we just want to hold on to really tight because we feel so good. But if we're to the extent I'm holding on to those things that can be like ripped away at any time, and if no other time, at the time of death, what is it that continues on? So it's worth it, I think, in life to stay in touch with what that is, or to explore what that is without too much philosophy or ideology, and more just experiential. Each of us has this heart that wants to be happy. Each of us are wishing not to suffer. And then we all have loved ones, and we want all of them to be happy, and we want all our loved ones not to have to suffer, don't we? We all share that in common. And then you can extend it further and further out, and we realize they're all just one family. Even the little insects are part of that family, and all sorts of animal creatures. But that's a predicament and inconvenience, because what do you do with that, you know? Slaughtering the family, eating the family. We have to find all these ways of kind of, how does this all work? What is this like mysteriousness of life, and how do we kind of fit into it? What kind of groove of life can each of us get into for ourselves that feels right and makes sense? And that's why it transcends any one ideology or any one philosophy or any one way of thinking about things or eating or anything like this, but rather let us tap into like what is our essential energy, and then go from there. And that's why the starting point and ending point to yogic practices, especially tantric like yogic practices, is always arousing the heart first, arousing the heart of bodhicitta, the heart of compassion. And so it's first, the real just practical way of doing that is just, number one, feeling into how much I want to be happy, and then feeling and paying attention to how much I'm suffering and how much I'd rather not. That's true for all of us. We can do that, yeah? All of us were happy in some ways, and we're suffering in some ways. And sometimes it like balloons in one direction, and sometimes it balloons in the other direction, but it's waves that are happening, isn't it? And today, like the moon's in Rohini, it's quite nice. That's exalted moon. The moon's kind of favorite place in the sky. It's feminine, Shakti, it's creative, it's prosperous. But right there, exact with it, is Mars conjuncting it. So now it's also fiery. And you can work with that energy. And so that might be experienced for one person, like, wow, fantastic. Another person, they could be dominated and feel like struggling. And that's why it's different for everybody at any given time. So if I'm feeling all right, then maybe though my friend is suffering quite a bit, so on that day I might have some strength to like, hey, let me help you out. Let me give you a hug or a smile or a hand or a conversation or an ear, this type of thing. We're all family like that. And so, but then that starting point of bodhicitta is, okay, my predicament makes it genuine. Then because I'm genuine with myself, that I'm often having a hard time, then I know that probably you are as well sometimes. And then I can feel just like I would feel for like a loved one. I can feel that compassion. Because once you really start, I think, getting into, you kind of like going into that under the ocean world, more into that transcendent space. Sometimes it's hard to make sense of things because there's so much juxtaposition. There's so much paradox when you get into when you kind of lift up the lid a little bit, And the compassion is what, to me, I find brings it all together and holds it all in place, like a web or a basket that everything else can be held within. Because then you're also developing tremendous sensitivity. You start to move with the prana and the life force, and it's starting to kind of open up the more subtle sensitivities of the human organism, which is a wonderful thing. It helps us be in connection to our purpose, our sense of joy, a sense of deeper meaning. And at the same time, it's really fragile and vulnerable sometimes, and sometimes lonely. And so without that compassion, the whole thing's too dried up. Compassion's not like a side virtue. Sometimes I feel like it's easy for the mind to treat it that way. Like, also I should be compassionate. But for in this context, it's the starting and ending point for all things. That's why starting of a yoga practice and ending of a yoga practice, it keeps coming back to that point. So the second level of it is, then I know that's true for myself, I know it's for you, and then I reflect on actually that I am happy. And I do have some happiness. I am happy in a lot of ways. And I do have things to be grateful for, and that I have a genuine wish for that to expand, to that to continue, and that to even swell and maybe even overflow if I'm lucky. And that's what they call it sympathetic joy, or they call the four immeasurables or four boundless attitudes: boundless compassion, boundless happiness, boundless love, boundless joy. And that means then, and this is a nice habit to develop, because what is the habit? It becomes, first by feeling it in myself, I know I have some happiness, I want that to expand, but how that really expands when I realize it's the same for you. That I want your happiness to expand, regardless of my relationship with you. I like you, I don't like you. And that's always interchanging, right? Because we have people that are our bestest friends, but then at times you have adversarial energy, even with your bestie, don't you? Admit it. And because those are all just temporary things, And so then, even if I can feel that a genuine wish for another person, even if that is creating adversarial energy in my life, that's very powerful. That can't be shaken, you see. It doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. It doesn't mean you're allowing anyone to walk over you. This is happening in the sanctuary of my own heart. And so I think that's very powerful and fantastic. It's like unshakable. Because if I've got love even through the adversarial energy. Well, what can be conquered? You know what I mean? It's very strong, but it's very difficult. So these are habits that take practice to create, and that's what's nice about these ideas, like the 4 measurables, the 4 boundless attitudes from the Buddha in this case. And then the 4th one is boundless equanimity, which we're kind of already touching on. And a certain one, it's the most important because it's easy for me to feel compassion for myself, and then also easy for me to feel compassion with my best friend and families and all of that. But it's more difficult to feel compassion towards the adversaries, or for people that don't look like us or vote like us, or all this us stuff. And so boundless equanimity kind of covers the first 3: boundless love, boundless compassion, boundless joy, and boundless equanimity. Isn't it cool? But it's just like little baby steps, and little by little, the more that love starts to blossom in us, the more happy our life is, the better our relationships are. Even the hard relationships will be much more harmonious because you can feel compassion genuinely. Not just because it's a spiritual thing, like I'm supposed to be more spiritual. That type of idea. In this worldview, there's nothing that's not spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Spiritual is a concept. Spirituality and non-spirituality. The idea exists on the surface of things. It doesn't exist underneath the ocean. Do you see what I mean? So anyhow, that's what this was supposed to be all about. Collecting the energy like that, collecting the energy. Inhale and exhale. Namo Gurudev Namo. Bueno, come on the hands and knees. Let's start this cat-cow. Yeah, spread your fingers wide, and before just jumping into it, some intentionality when starting. Spread the fingers wide, and lift a gentle lift through the pelvic floor, and then you start to move this spine. Move the head as inhaling, the head is up. Exhale, the head is down. If you're not familiar with the exercises, Shara is here. She got all comfortable and wearing her socks now, but even when she demos. Good. Keep the inhalation through the nose and the exhalation through the nose. Yeah, just like, but your own pace, it's making like a nice suppleness of your spine, but it's using every breath and the rhythm. Really, instead of thinking every breath, think if I can put myself into a synchronized breath rhythm. If I can put my body and my breath together, I can even create a little groove. Right? It could be like that slow, sat, na, sat. That's a nice groove. Or it could be, that usually depends on how old you are, largely, Moon conjunct Mars, notice people are moving a little more quickly. This is Mars as like our engine. your style of ambitious energy. Everybody has it. Everybody has a navel point. Good. Inhale, head up. And exhale, head down. And just for a few moments, relax the forehead down to the floor and the butt back to the heels. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Taking a moment just to appreciate where you are in your life right now without needing to change anything at all. It's a moment of gratitude, a moment of feeling the presence of this moment and feeling your body and how it can just connect down into the earth right now. Letting the mind be a bit more spacious, the jaw relax, the tongue relax, heart soften. And we come from the earth, and we go back to the earth, these bodies, and come sitting up. Sitting up on the heels. And the sit bones connected, so right on the sit bones, chest lifted. Deeper the breath, please. But don't lose the rhythm. No. So. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and suspend the mind. And lift up through your pelvic floor a touch and draw the navel in and exhale through your nose. There you go. Come and sit cross-legged, Sukhasana. But your sit bones are connected. That's why we usually use a cushion. Keep the sit bones connected. That way you can lift your heart. Like you deeper the breath, like can you feel as your chest lifts, the sit bones press down into the earth, and the heart lifts up. Sat, Nam, Sat. Working with the chi, it's working with the prana. Inhale deeply. Now suspend the breath in and make the mind nice and spacious. And exhale. You know, it's like softening up your accomplishment mode. And it's not rushing it through it. Hands come to your knees. And the heart is lifting. Same thing, but hands to the knees. I want you to have a deeper breath with this slower groove so you can really feel as you lift the chest, the heart, the sit bones press down and the life force chi comes in and down into the pelvic area. You like that? Yes. And now the gaze goes to the third eye space as you continue. If you can feel like it's less of a chest forward and more of like a sternum lifting up towards your slightly tucked chin like this. Now deepest inhale. Suspension of the breathing, suspension of the mind, softening of the heart, spacious of the whole kind of center energy space of your body. And exhale. Is the center energy space of our body is the center energy space of the mind. They're not two different things. Hands are to your shoulders, but first your pelvic floor is lifted. And then the heart can lift and the shoulder blades can release. And it's to the left the inhalation and to the right the exhalation. That's beautiful. And the most of the emphasis is on the breath rhythm. It's not as so important the speed. And keep just going any way that feels good to you. And try to keep your elbows up at the height of your shoulders. Try to keep your eyelids softened down. And try to relax the mind a little bit. Try not to just go through the motions, especially those of you who do these practices quite a bit. But it's really being really attentive to this present moment of our lives. And let that, and out of that presence, creativity is born. Our vitality is lifted and strengthened. Into the center, deep inhale. Now the Mulaban, rectum, sex organ, pelvic floor, navel. And then the heart softens and the mind spacious. And then exhale. That's very nice. Hands will come to your knees. So you just inhale up, exhale, let it release. Every exhale, let the shoulder blades just release. Inhale, squeeze up the shoulders like that. Squeeze out some tension and relax. And take your left arm out like this. Like this. Then the right arm comes underneath like Char's doing. Yeah, like this. Fantastic. Just in that direction as much as you can. Right arm comes underneath, and then you try to bring the fingers of your right hand into the palm of your left hand. But then try to lift up through your chest and release down your shoulders. And close your eyes and relax into it. And let the breath flow, carrying the current of the chi, the prana. You feel it's like, let the shoulders open. Let these kind of upper parts of the spinal system soften and open, so that our precious life force can animate itself into all the different centers of what we are and who we are. And relax that one, and then switch the other side. Lift up through your chest, but release your shoulder blades down the back. If you have tension, see if you can transfer that tension in the upper body by contracting up through the pelvic floor and relaxing and softening the upper back and the chest. You see, call it transferring the tension. Transfer it into the mulaban in the lower part of the body, and then soften, you know. Okay, and relax that. Hands to the knees. It'll be like a... This time, deeper the breath rhythm. It's not aggressive, but it has depth. You know, it has a depth of pocket. It has a depth of... It's called releasing accumulated stresses. Inhale, squeeze up the shoulders, squeeze out some tensions, and relax. Bravo. Now keep your heart lifted and relax your jaw and relax your tongue. Just the neck, gentle neck rolls. We're not here accomplishing anything. We're not in any rush. But it is a loving experience. It's taking a practice of compassion and bringing it to life, starting with the compassion for the body, compassion for the predicament that we may find ourselves in. And out of that compassion, a joy can come forth. Other direction, we start to feel good. It's not some dreary thing, our lives. We can even have happiness because other people are getting more happy. In other words, you can find treasures everywhere if you have the eyes for them. And inhale to the center. And exhale. And stretch the legs wide open. And then flex the feet, and it'll be right on your sit bones. That's the key, right on your sit bones. Flex the feet, energy in the toes. And then to the center is your inhalation. You turn to either side and you lead from your navel and follow with your heart, and you exhale, fold. You don't worry about if you don't have as much flexibility. It's called gently opening by taking a deep, rich inhalation and a full, complete exhalation as you start to open the life nerve, the sciatic. And that can help the whole electricity of the body and the mind come into kind of its centralized power. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah. And that's what I'm all about. This is who I am. I am a happy being. I'm a creative being. I'm a flowing kind of mind of love, creativity, kindness, generosity, prosperity, intelligence, courage. All of that is there, and it all comes out of the heart. Every inhalation, try to fill your lungs deeply. You know what I mean? Trying not to just phone it in. It's a complete system tune-up that way. That's good enough. Relax. And then just for a few moments, you can hinge forward, keep the legs engaged, keep the feet flexed, but relax the groin area. That's beautiful. And try to release your shoulders, not collapse your heart too much. Extend out through your crown a little, tuck the chin in, and breathe long and deeply. You know, Kriya practice is as much strengthening as it is stretching, at least. And here the legs are strong, the feet are engaged, the toes have energy, but then the whole groin area is soft, and the heart is soft, and then even the mind is soft. So part of the journey of Kundalini Yoga is learning how to transfer tension to your advantage. Tension in your upper back is a disadvantage, but you can take it and you can put it into the strengthening of the root foundations of yourself and of the body, and it can become a power. But there we have to simultaneously soften in the upper spine, soften in the heart, soften of the mind, most importantly. And this takes a little time, baby steps. Go relax, shake the legs out. Come sitting cross-legged like this. And then the mind sometimes just doesn't cooperate, and you just say, okay, good try, mind. You depersonalize it a little bit, just blame it on the mind. That's why I like those poetry where it's, oh my mind, practice yoga in this way. Because it's not a self-improvement, experience or system. But it's finding out what is there when all the obscurations kind of dissipate, even if just for a little bit. And maybe we will find and experience and feel a part of ourselves that transcends any idea of dying. Hands like this, Gyan Mudra, index finger to the thumb. How could it not be infinite energy? They say as all energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed. This is the basic law of thermodynamics. But that's not true for the human organism. In that case, it just goes and then it's like poof, click, lights off. I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's some other current that is a continuum that keeps on keeping on. And I think that is the source of great joy and great creativity and sense of purpose. And then how does it dance in the context of our personal lives? Well, we're here. We all have our mythological journey to play out, and that mythological journey has a brilliance to it, and there's no person or human there's an exception to that. That's the idea. Take the Gyan Mudra, chest lifted, inhale, like. Inhale. Exhale. Like that, like it'll go. Now bring the navel into it. Inhale. Of the breath. Lift up through the root lock, Mulaban, rectum, and sex organ up and in, navel up and in. Spacious of the mind, soft of the heart. Exhale. And it's really nice. Come onto your backs, please. Just for a few moments, relax here. And don't worry about anything. So much I think of what we desire in life is sits on the foundation of how well our minds are able to relax. How well our minds are able to relax, especially when things are difficult. And take the legs together, and then take a deep inhalation. Fully exhalation. And Shar, can you just demonstrate a stretch pose real quick? It'll be like this. And if it strains the lower back, which if you're not doing this type of thing too often, it might. Take your hands under your butt, palms facing down, like Charlotte's doing, and support yourself that way. But this whole thing is not about, how perfect you do it. It's about working to generate the energy underneath the belly button, in the abdomen, and the navel point. Okay? I mean, we ain't started yet. If y'all want to keep getting these bonus stretch poses in, you're most welcome to, but relax for a moment. Relax. Bonus stretch posing. Stretch posing. All right, you ready? Take a deep inhalation. Fully exhale. Inhaling deeply. It's beautiful. Exhale. Eyes will be on the toes. Inhale. And and anytime you need to relax, just relax. But if you can kind of get into that deeper threshold of the vitality, you can do so by putting yourself in a deep rhythm current with the breath and with the navel point. Take a deep inhale. Fully exhale. Come into stretch pose. Equal exhale, inhale. They have equal strength and the navel's going. Is in, navel in deep, relax. Bravo. Amazing job. Now let yourself really relax. No cares in the world. Just for a moment. We'll have fun being stressed out later. For now, it's just no care, having fun, having no cares in the world. Go into that archetype. Like the moon and Taurus archetype, right? Why is the moon in exaltation when she's in Taurus? Taurus is Earth Mama. Taurus is not moving fast at all. And the moon is a part of us that just wants to feel safe. It's just about our deepest needs as a human being, as a mind, as a heart. And in order to experience our deepest needs, and thus the fulfillment of our deepest needs, we have to be able to relax into the feeling of feeling safe enough in our bodies, safe enough in our minds. And that's the glory of the heart of compassion and the intuitive wisdom mind. And that's the journey of Kundalini Yoga. Learning how to feel safe in the body, to feel safe on the planet. And out of that, creativity arises. You feel purposefulness here. You feel meaningfulness of our life. That we are indeed not just important, but beyond important, beyond even concepts of important, precious, timeless. John Coltrane called a love supreme, but that's just because there's no other words. But you can feel it. You can feel it in the sound. You can feel it in the artistry of life. You can feel it in the love between one another. You can feel it in two souls coming together. You can feel it in two souls drifting apart. It's a mysterious majesty, magical, mysterious, full of wonder and wonderfulness. And the wonderfulness is not just in the so-called good times. And that mysteriousness never leaves. Such. It was here at the beginning. Jugad such. Throughout all of time and all the ages. Happy such. It's fully present in this very moment. Nanikosi be such. And always forever forward. It's circular in motion. cycle of life. Inhale. Exhale. Legs come together. And just one more round. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come into stretch pose. Inhale. Put the navel in the rhythm pocket. Inhale deep. Navel deep in. Pelvic floor lifted up. Navel deep in. Relax. Amazing. The knees to the chest and bring the nose up towards the knees and release your shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, bring the head up close as much as you can, but release your shoulder blades. Okay? And then inhale. And rock and roll on the spine several times and then come up. And then you come up and you know what's next. Your thumbs are out and the fingers are tucked in. And then you go up to 60 degrees with the arms. Yeah? And the mind though, even before beginning, you see how you start the thing is usually how the experience tends to go. So especially those of us who do this a lot, we have a tendency to just jump right into it because we know how to do it. We're not thinking about the mechanics of it so much. So then maybe consider the mechanic of making mind spacious and heart soft before even beginning the exercise, pelvic floor lifted, and then see how that influenced the whole rest of it. I think that's the idea. New transit begins, for instance, in your horoscope, and you can do a ritual for that. How something begins tends to influence how it's going to take the course. That's why we look at the horoscope for the moment you were born. The moment any of us were born, how something begins, as my mentor Drupada says, a happy person, or I think he's maybe quoting Yogananda, who says a happy person can't be born at a sad moment. Sad person can't be born at a happy moment. But a sad person can become happy, and a happy person can become sad. So there's just waves and tendencies. So we all start with a wave and a momentum, but it's not a permanent thing. It can be shaped. And shaping it is the art of Kundalini Yoga. Take the arms to 60 degrees. Heart is lifted, shoulder blades release, arms extended, inhale. 3 minutes here. running amok a little bit. So see if you can now take a hold of the mind's energy and not allow it to just do whatever it pleases. And for just another 90 seconds, put it into the rhythm groove. Tips touching above the head. Stretch your fingers wide. Open up the space of the spine by releasing the shoulders, touching the ceiling. Lift through the pelvic floor. And then very wonderfully relax, release, exhale. And just close your eyes. And pay attention to the chi, the prana flow in the body. What is it that infuses the cells with life and intelligence? What is it that keeps the heart in its beat rhythm? What is it that keeps our lives going, continuing? What is it that causes the rivers to rush downstream? What is it that causes the leaves to fall from the trees? What is it that causes the sprout to bloom? What is it that causes the fruits to be harvested? Nobody knows the answer to these things, but it's full of wonder. Yeah? Just like this. You're gonna take your thumbs to the mound of the pinky finger, and you press your shoulder blades back like you're gonna try to bring your shoulder blades together. Then you see how by doing that, press the shoulder blades back, opens your chest hard up. And it's working with your central channel for just a little bit. This won't last very long. And if you can, put the gaze of your eyes on the tip of your nose. Otherwise, close the eyes and see if you can relax the gaze into the third eye. Best is if you can relax the gaze, tip of the nose, and try to move the prana with your navel point. That's called the Mars Mangala Shakti. But it lifts into the soft, expansive feel of your heart. And all that pent-up energy, put it into the purpose. Into the field of the heart center, the electromagnetism of the heart Now squeeze deeply the muscles around your spine as you lift through your pelvic floor. Rectum, sex organ, navel. And then through your nose, exhale. Inhale deeply. Lift the Mulaban, pelvic floor, navel up and in. And then squeeze the spine. And exhale. And just one more. Inhale. Now your fingers are totally tight. And squeeze the spine, lift the pelvic floor. And exhale. Very good. And now take your arms if you could. And don't get too spaced out. Shake it around. Keep the energy in the body. But relax, okay? Now like this. You take your hands like this. The thumbs stretched apart. The four fingers firmly together. These are not relaxed fingers. They're very engaged. And go back and forth like this. Da, 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 da. And then the breath. There's nothing easy about this one. It takes your perfect attention, but it doesn't last very long. So there's a heavy movement that comes from the power of the thumbs, back and forth. It might cause a little bit of discomfort in the wrists, but you'll feel, I think, how it opens up the chi, the meridians, like you're coming out of an amazing acupuncture appointment, but you just did it yourself. Four fingers together, thumbs stretched away, but the breath must be there. It's not a passive breath, it's an active. Put the Mars into something. Put the passionate energy into something. Put the aspirational energy into something. In this case, the current of the breath. Lift your pelvic floor. There's no loose pelvic floors in this exercise. Best you can. Then keep the shoulders released down, but the fingers firm, heavy back and forth. Now, inhale through the nose. Keep the breath in, but keep the movement going, and lift up more deeply through your pelvic floor and draw your navel in. Keep the breath in, keep the movement going. Now through your nose, exhale. Inhale deep. Lift the Mulabang. Squeeze the spine, keep the movement going. Consolidate the energy. Through the nose, exhale. Bravo, one more. Squeeze the spine, lift through your pelvic floor. Exhale. Fantastic, relax. This last one you'll love, and then you'll relax down. That's just a prediction, but maybe I'll be totally wrong and you'll feel like it's horrible. Time will tell. Fingers are firm, and they're like this. You'll be like a... So here's the thing about this one. The entire force of the movement is towards the body, towards the heart center. It described like a kind of like a hammer blow to the heart center. It's like you're going to hit your chest very powerfully, but you don't. You stop just before. Fingers firm. Pelvic floor is lifted because you're working with chi. So it's an O-shaped mouth. Now, every time the hands come towards you, it's an exhale. It's fantastic. It's called overcoming any obstacle. It's opening into love. It's opening into our joy, our creativity. And it doesn't require any circumstances of our life changing, other than the circumstance that we decide to get happy. And take back extract the power of our joy from our kind of demoting habits that have hijacked it. Yeah? Like that. Now keep going. Now soften your mind. Soften the gaze. And get into the rhythm. And just merge into it for a bit. Exhale, rest. Inhale deep. Lift the mula bandh, tighten the spine, and then go. As quick this time as you can. Exhale. Okay, one more bonus one. Inhale deep. Lift the pelvic floor, tighten the spine, then go. Plenty, good, great, relax, exhale. Fantastic. Now come onto your backs and just relax. Move the fingers, move the toes. And then rub your palms in the soles of your feet. Make some heat. Your cat stretch to each side. And then hug the knees to the chest. And rock and roll on the spine. And so you're going to come sitting in a meditative position. This is like, for me, this is, you work really hard so that alchemy can take place. So we can take our energies, whether they're more stagnant or they're a little more tumultuous, whatever they may be, or maybe they're unknown, they're very subtle, and you kind of make it available to your experience, and you can bring it into the field of your meditative awareness. And out of that field of awareness is the flow of intelligence. Yeah, and then you don't need a philosophy. The thumbs are coming together like that, and you go like that, and you make a little bit of this is called the white swan kriya. And what you do, like I can see it sometimes like two white swans with their foreheads touching each other, like that. And so the finger pads of the fingertips come to the pads of your palms. And you press the thumbs a little so the first little part becomes a bit lighter, or at least creates a little bend in the thumbs. It doesn't have to be extreme or hard, just a touch. It doesn't take much. Then you see a lot of you right now, you're holding it up, but you're holding it up with your arms and shoulders. I understand. That'll be harder though. Try, if you can, to first create a strength of the core, a lifting of the mulband, or pelvic floor, and try to soften the shoulders and the chest. Release the shoulder blades down the back, and then hold the posture up. And you'll notice as it goes, maybe your tension will accumulate a bit in the shoulders. You can, as you notice that, just try to continue to soften the upper body and strengthen the lower body, the pelvic floor. Okay? That's the denser physical part. The other part is you first look at the mudra, the white swan mudra, with your eyes open. You're holding it about the height of the third eye point. And you see its shape, then you close your eyes and you see its shape through closed eyes. And you make your breath go long, slow, and deep through the nose. The breath becomes very deep. Try to keep it quite long. And the secret to the deep yogic breath is to finish every exhale. Try to push every bit of the exhalation out before the inhalation comes in. And as the mind moves from this place to that place, continue to anchor it back whenever you can. At the visualization of the mudra and a long deep breath. Om Triambakam Yajamahi. Om Triambakam Yajamahi.
Uruvarukamiv bandana Vrityurmukshiyamamrita Om Triambakam Yajamahi Om Triambakam Yajamahi Om Triambakam Yajamahi Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Uruvarukamiv bandana Vrityurmukshiyamamrita 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 Om Triambakam Yajamahi Pushtivardhanam Uruvarukamiv bandana Vrityurmukshiyamamrita Om Triambakam Yajamahi Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Uruvarukamiv bandana Vrityurmukshiyamamrita Om Triambakam Yajamahi Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam
try to keep the body
Uruvarukamiva bandhana.
totally still and let the changes happen.
Mrityurumuksiyamamrita.
The more difficult it becomes, the deeper goes the breathing.
Om Triambakam Yajamani.
See the white swan mudra.
Sugandhim Pushtivaridanam.
Through your mind's eye.
Uruvarukamiva bandhana. Mrityurumuksiyamamrita.
Sometimes it feels like it's tightening the body.
Om Triambakam Yajamani.
But then you find out that it actually is opening things up. But it creates that through pressure. It creates the catalyst. The blossoming heart. The wisdom mind. The flow of prosperity and purpose. Less than 2 minutes. Even if the arms have dropped, don't let the mind. And use the moment. And listen very deeply. Final moments, keep your pelvic floor lifted and the breath very deep. And hold the position and deeply inhale. Suspend the breath and see the white swan mudra. And while keeping the breath in, let that vision just dissipate into space. Hold the posture and through your nose exhale. Deepest inhale. Pelvic floor lifted, navel in, mulaband, heart expansive as the sky. See the white swan mudra. Then let it dissipate. And hold the posture and through your nose exhale. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Spacious of the mind. And exhale. And final part, take your hands into this Gyan mudra like this. And take your 3 fingers of each hand like this. Cross them like this. And then you touch these 2 Gyan mudras together. And the palms facing up like this. And you hold that very beautifully at your heart center. And shoulders release. Just a few moments. But feel the sensitivity of the touch and the fingers. And the current of life and energy.
Om Triambakam Yajamani.
Perfectly still.
Sugandhim Pushtivaridanam. Triambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam Uruvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityurumukshiyamamrita Om Triambakam yajamahi
Keep steady.
Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam
Listen.
Uruvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityurumukshiyamamrita Om Triambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam Uruvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityurumukshiyamamrita
Final 2 minutes.
Om Triambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam Uruvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityurumukshiyamamrita 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 Om Triambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam Uruvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityurumukshiyamamrita
And inhale deeply.
Om
Suspend the breath in.
Triambakam yajamahi
And exhale.
Sugandhim pushtivaridhanam
Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath in.
Uruvarukamiva bandhanam
Spacious of the mind.
Mrityurumukshiyamamrita
And exhale. together, bringing the mind once again to the heart of compassion.
Sugandhim pushti varidana.
Your own wishes, your wishes for others.
Uruvarukamiva bandhana.
And expanding happiness, joy.
Mrityurmukshiyamamrita.
From Shakbar.
Om Triambakam Yajamahi.
With compassion, the root of Dharma is planted.
Sugandhim pushti varidana.
Without compassion, the root of Dharma is rotten.
Uruvarukamiva bandhana.
One with compassion is kind even when angry.
Mrityurmukshiyamamrita.
One without compassion will kill even as they smile.
Om Triambakam Yajamahi.
For the one with compassion, even their enemies turn into friends.
Sugandhim pushti varidana.
Yet without compassion, their friends will turn to their enemies.
Uruvarukamiva bandhana.
With compassion, one has all of the dharmas.
Mrityurmukshiyamamrita.
Without compassion, one has no dharma at all.
Om Triambakam Yajamahi.
Great compassion is like a wish-fulfilling jewel.
Sugandhim pushti varidana.
It fulfills the hopes of self and of others.
Uruvarukamiva bandhana. Mrityurmukshiyamamrita.
Take the hands of prayer pose. Okay, thank you everybody. Thanks for being here. Nice job. Take as much time as you want to re-enter back into whatever space we're re-entering back into. Thank you, Simrat. Thank you, Salif. Cool. Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody here. Thank you, everybody at home. We'll be back Monday. And have a great rest of the evening. Hey, thanks for watching on YouTube. Best easy way to stay in touch with us. Hit the subscribe button here. You'll see our videos when they come up. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. It'll help more people see it, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching.